I think the timing did kind of catch a lot of us off, though.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of your Sunday, and NFL Sunday. All of a sudden, you get the news that oh boy, Frost is out and press conference at 3 o'clock. So yeah, just the speed of it, I think, was the surprising part about it. And I can tell you, the writing was already on the wall. I mean, I had noticed last week, like midweek, there were boosters going in that were going in to have meetings with Trev Alberts and stuff, and yeah, nobody really envisioned this. I mean, Saturday night inside the stadium, and the atmosphere was electric at points of the game, and they just squandered it all away. And yeah, it was kind of an eerie feeling after the game too, when the post game press conference was, Scott Frost come up and even before that, he just after he shook hands with Clay Helton and he sprinted off the field and had a fairly quick talk with the team and was out for his press conference, and then he just kind of disappeared. And they only had two other players. Casey Thompson and Garrett Nelson were the only other two players that came to the podium, and they didn't have any extra players out in the hallway. And so there was kind of an eerie feeling going into it. But seriously, when I woke up Sunday morning, I wasn't expecting to hear that news. But hey, Nebraska's moved on from Scott Frost, and the record speaks for itself. And it was time for a change to be made. And Trev Alberts got ahead of the whole thing and pulled the trigger on it.
So, Greg, before we move on to Mickey Joseph, and of course, he met with the media today, as you mentioned, and then what could possibly happen following Mickey Joseph. Maybe he performs and the team responds, and shoot, this is his audition, of course, to move on, to possibly gain the job, and then for future decision about a coach. But before we get there, just your kind of final thoughts. Now that it won't be brought up in the future, of course, as Nebraska fans and college football fans like to look into the past, especially during the off season. But for what seemed to be such a perfect fit, what do you think went wrong?
Like you said earlier, we could probably do 5 hours on that alone. But bottom line, the record speaks for itself. 16-31 and 5-22 in one score games. There's just something wrong there with the execution. And some of it can be pinned on coaching. Some of it can be pinned on not developing players. You can go on and on. It's kind of strange because, you remember when they hired Scott Frost, he was the hottest coaching candidate in the country at the time too. Not only was it a slam dunk hire for Nebraska, but there was a lot of programs that were after him. And for a homegrown Nebraska guy, a lifelong Husker, just things didn't work out. And Trev Alberts making this decision when he did, this is you got to keep in mind, this is a decision for the kids, the guys on the team, and a different voice needed to be in charge. And Mickey Joseph's, this is his first head coaching job, obviously, but he's a motivator, and kids really love him, and they love to play for him. And I'm not saying they didn't love playing for Coach Frost, and obviously they all love Coach Frost, and it's been harder on the players than it has been on anybody. And Coach Mickey said today that they've handled it like champs, and who knows what's going to happen? Maybe you see a more spirited team, and there's a few changes that have been made besides at the head coaching spot, and there's 9 games left in the season. It's not like Mickey Joseph's named an interim head coach to finish off the last 2 games of the year, or maybe just play in a bowl game. He's got 9 games to, build his resume right now. And, the season's not lost. And I think if you kept going in the direction you were going with Scott Frost at the helm, I don't think you were going to see any improvement. What we've seen, through 3 games so far, we didn't see any improvement. And, the biggest head scratchers, what's happened to the defense. And so, yeah, I think I agree with Trev Alberts in the timing of doing this. And, a lot of people that might not know what they're talking about will complain about the buyout on it and stuff. But, it is what it is. And you gotta do what you can because you're a very proud, historic program. And to keep continuing on like this is not acceptable for anybody.